was Christmas Day when a mother of three, Tamara Lee Mason, decided to have a board game with her three sons, Dylan, Andrew, and Jacob, only for the night to end with her own murder. On that cold Minnesota day, on December 25th, 2010, Tamara, age 49, arrived home with her three sons after having Christmas dinner at a friend's house. Upon arrival, Tamara suggested the family come together to play a game of Yahtzee. The proposal of this game enraged the sons, especially the youngest of the three, which was Jacob Cobb, age 17. The infuriated Jacob Cobb began to strangle his own mother on the living room floor. As Jacob gripped his hands tightly against Tamara's throat, his other brother, Andrew, age 18, watched and figured there was a more proficient way to end his mother's life. This was when Andrew sparked the idea to grab a plastic bag and put it over her head. After placing the bag over her head and proceeded to wrap a bell around her neck, only for Jacob to step back in and pull it tightly to finish the job. Loud noise was heard by the oldest of the sons, Dylan Clemens, age 25. Dylan rushed downstairs only to see his brothers strangling their mother. Dylan watched as his mother's life left her body and then proceeded to help dispose of it. The trio decided to bury the body in the backyard of the home, but since it was winter, the ground was still frozen, so they had to come up with a different method of disposal in the meantime. The next day, Dylan put his mother's body in a trash can and drove it to a friend's home in South Dakota to try to burn it, but soon changed his mind and took the body back home and placed it in a shed. Once in the shed, the body remained there and slowly decomposed as the months passed by, and the Minnesota ground slowly began to thaw. Now, with spring arriving, the time came for the sons to dispose of the body. On May 21st, 2011, a friend of Dylan told a police deputy that his friend told him a story of how he got into a fight with his mom, and after asked what was the best way to get rid of a body, the friend brought up an idea of dumping the body in a pig pen so they can eat it, and then get rid of the head by dumping it into a pond. The same day, a separate informant told the police that Dylan had told him that his youngest sibling strangled his mother. After being told this, the informant asked where the body was, and Dylan responded with, "Oh, it's somewhere." In June, the police brought Dylan in for questioning. At first, Dylan denied any involvement in the murder whatsoever. Dylan even made up a story that his mother left her belongings and never came back to Christmas Day after nobody wanted to play the board game with her. As the police began to question Dylan more and more, Dylan eventually caved in on July 6th. He admitted his deep frustration with his mother and also said that he didn't know if he could take it anymore and that he wanted to kill her. After he spoke about how he felt about his mother, he gave the police details of the murder that night. After the confession, all three sons were arrested. Police soon found the body decomposing in the backyard the next day. An autopsy was done and reported that Tamara had died of asphyxiation due to neck compression, which resulted in a fractured larynx. All three sons appeared before the judge, and the sentencing began for the murder of their mother. Jacob Cobb was sentenced to 15 years after pleading guilty to second-degree murder and third-degree assault. Dylan Clemens was sentenced to 8 years after pleading guilty to being an accessory to the fact of Tamara's murder. Andrew Cobb also pleaded guilty to being an accessory and was sentenced to 22.5 months in prison. Andrew was given the lesser of the three sentences because the judge felt that he had a less active role in the murder.